video, I will be discussing the topic memory. We use our memory every day, but do we really know about the process of it or how it connects to the brain? Well, today I will inform you about the concepts of the three basic processes of memory, the information processing model, and last but not least, how memory connects to our brain. Before I get into these concepts, please read this quote. The reason why I put this quote in the beginning is because it is one of my favorite quotes, and right when you started reading this, your memory is starting to work. Your memory follows three basic steps of processing, which includes the encoding, the storage, and the retrieving process. The encoding is the first step process where our sensory information, such as visual and sound, is being converted into a form that our brain can use. When you were reading the quote earlier, your visual encoding is doing its job to convert that image into your memory. The second step process is the storage process. This step is the part where our memory is reserving the information for a certain amount of time. It's like storing food inside a fridge, knowing that you will eat it later. The third and last step process is the retrieval process. After encoding and storing the information, you would want to retrieve it from your memory so that you can use it. The only downfall is that people struggle the most with this process because they have to try to retrieve it, and sometimes it gets lost. How many times have you thought of a song but you can't seem to remember the name? Or even thought of a certain flavor of food but you can't seem to describe it or name it? I know this happens to me a lot. This process is also tricky too because the information that were not stored properly may not be retrieved.
Wait, I know this. But who's the singer? I know this song.
From encoding, storage, and retrieval, we enter the information processing model. This model focuses on how the information is processed throughout the different stages of memories. These stages of memories includes the sensory memory, the short-term memory, and the long-term memory. The first stage of this model is the sensory memory. The sensory memories allows the individual to retain the impressions of the sensory systems, such as eyes and ears, even when the original stimuli has disappeared. For example, you are watching the firework on the 4th of July. A heart-shaped firework caught your attention, but it's not there anymore. Even the picture of each firework visual effects has disappeared, leaving a trace of just smoke. That is the sensory memory, and usually information from this stage of memory will be lost within a second or so, like the fireworks. Sensory memory is broken into two different types. The first type is the iconic sensory memory. Icon is the Greek word for image, which supports the visual systems and gives the brainstem time to decide if the information received is important enough to go back to it. The game that Anila played displayed toads running across the screen. Your iconic sensory memory is being triggered when the question asked, how many toads were there total? This makes you think that you need to go back to the information to get it right. The second type of sensory memory is the echoic sensory memory. This is a brief memory of your auditory stimuli. A common scenario of this is being addressed out of the blue. We have heard what they said, but we haven't had enough time to process the information. This leads to the what phenomenon. What was said might be important to you, so you might want to try to remember it. Once you catch on, the sound and phrase that was said to you would be like an instant replay. can you do laundry? Mom and Dad is gonna be home soon.
Yeah, I'll do it later.
Wait, what did I say?
You said Mom and Dad are coming home soon, so do laundry.
When the sensory memory is moved to the next stage, it enters the short-term memory. The short-term memory is the ability to hold small amounts of information in mind that is active and available for a short amount of time. Within the short-term memory is the working memory. The working memory is the active state that processes the information to be stored in or remembered from the short-term memory. The process of rehearsing something multiple times without anything intervening will take your memory to the next stage, which is the long-term memory. Long-term memories are all the memories we hold for a period of times that are longer than a few seconds. When the long-term memories is formed, there is a physical change to your brain, which will be explained later. This physical change shows that the memories from your childhoods is always there because the long-term memories are kept more or less permanently. Long-term memories has an incredible vast storage capacity, and some memories can last from the time they were created until we die. There are two types of long-term memory, procedural and declarative. Procedural, also known as implicit memories, are the procedures of the long-term memories. The skills and habits such as walking or biting your nails are not consciously thought of, but makes it a very strong memory. Declarative memory is memories on facts and events. This is broken into two subcategories, the episodic memory and the semantic memory. Episodic memories are memories of experience and personal events such as when you last showered. Semantic memory is the general knowledge such as language, class materials, or math skills. A way to look at long-term memory is when I was on a trip to Vietnam. I encoded the scene at the river and stared at it for a good amount of time so that it is stored in my long-term memory, hoping that I will never forget that scene. Back to the physical changes during your long-term memory. These physical changes when your memory is formed is called the engram. It is like a trace of the memory when the memory is formed. The brain is broken into different areas such as the temporal lobe and the frontal lobe. Within the temporal lobe, between the left and the right hemisphere, is the medial temporal lobe. This is where your episodic and semantic memory is stored. Going further into the medial temporal lobe is a region called the limbic system. Different parts of the limbic system stores different types of memories, such as the amygdala, where it stores the memories of fears. This system also includes the hippocampus, which is relevant to the processing of memories. As learned in previous chapters, the hippocampus is essential for memory function because information that are transferred from short-term memories to your long-term memories has to go through the hippocampus. Without the hippocampus, no new long-term memories can be made. This is why the hippocampus is so relevant to forming new long-term memories.